Hello, this is Sister Kathy. Thank you for joining me tonight. The first thing we're going to do is go over some of the things that I've already talked about, some of the things that I've already discussed, and that being the first part of this lesson, which was learn the difference between your mind and your brain. We said the brain processes information, your mind is your consciousness. So you want to be able to control your mind or be in control of your mind, the way you think, because that is the power that is given to you. So, of course, the name of the series is Power, breaking those invisible chains. Some of us don't know the things that are holding us back, but it's a lot of the things from your past that people have a lot of trouble with. So, breaking the invisible chains is going to teach you how to break down the structure of those things in your mind in the way that you think and from affecting your decisions. So we talked about the difference between the brain and the mind. We talked about control, derailing the uninvited thoughts. Keep in mind that this is a 30-minute, I only have 30 minutes that I've dedicated to doing these videos. If you would like for me to come to your church, a women's gathering, I mean, if this is really impacting your life or impacting the way you think, if you want me to come and do a personal presentation, which is much more in depth than this, it's a 2-day presentation, contact me directly. Okay. You can send me a message through Ustream, or you can send a message to KLAPWAS. That's clap was with a K. KLAPWAS at yahoo.com, and I will respond to your email. If you'd like for me to do a personal presentation at your church, at your gathering, women's group, whatever, this is a powerful series. So control, derailing the uninvited thoughts. Okay, so we talked about that. Then we talked about reasoning, determine why they don't qualify to be in your life. That was last week's session. Tonight we're going to talk about planning. Planning is so important. Oh, I want to touch on one thing. Last week we talked about mapping. Because I wanted to share mapping with you, because anytime you're going to do something that's going to change your life, it almost requires you to do some goal setting. Okay, because goal setting, it helps you keep focused, it helps you keep in line with what you're trying to accomplish. So you definitely want to set goals. You definitely want to know how you're progressing. You want to kind of see it with your own eyes in black and white. Uh, the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. This is kind of falling into that category. So last week we talked about mapping. As you can see here, I said that the circle represents what? Your current situation, where you are right now. This is you. Okay? Having uninvited thoughts, thoughts from your past, whatever is holding you back. Right here, we talked about the first thing that I talked about, having a notebook, writing down the 10 things that you would like to change. Okay, writing it down at least 10 things. So right here, we have, if you had that list, then we went on to talk about application. Okay, applying these steps. Okay, and if you apply the steps, if you apply the principles, the strategies, you should get a result, which should be a change. So as you notice, a circle with, and then you apply the principles, turns into a square. So then that's who you become. That's that change. That's who you want to be. That's what you're striving for. This is your goal. Okay, but we know in order to get here, we kind of gotta go through something. Okay. Here I wanted to show you, this is called mapping, okay? It's giving you a clear picture of how things happen. So basically here we have the circle. This is your current, this is who you are right now. This is your application. If you do the strategies, the principles, if you apply the techniques that I've shown you, the result is change, okay? As you can see over here, if you say, no, I'm not going to apply it, I'm not going to use my 10 list, I'm not going to do my exercise in the mirror or whatever, and you say no, look at what happens. You automatically go back to being a circle. That's if you say no. That's if you don't do the strategies. But look again, this is you. You apply the strategy, you change. guess what? This is a new you. You don't go back to this, okay? It's a new you, a new circle. And then you go back and do what? You apply, you change, and then you're even better. And you go back and you apply and you change and you're even better. Okay? So since we know that's going to happen, I want you to keep in mind, if you will, something simple like a basketball team. I kind of played basketball when I was younger. I think I was pretty good at it. Okay. So, but one thing you know about participating on any type of team, whether it's basketball, cheerleading, whatever, um, some team in the church, whether it's choir, your usher, whatever the case may be. One thing we learn is that it involves planning. Okay, so you have a goal, right? We already talked about goal. We already talked about mapping. So now what you want to do is have a plan. Plans are very effective because when you have a plan, and I kind of have to have this light kind of shining this way so you can see me, but it's like blinding me. So you have to have a plan because in that plan, you're going to have alternatives to solutions if you happen to run into a problem. Okay? So you want to take this very seriously. So you want to have a plan. Remember, you're going through changes. Things are changing. People are going to recognize those changes. When you're going through changes, some days are good, some days are bad. So you have to have some stick to itness. You know, you have to be willing, no matter what, to follow through. Okay, so you want to plan for the naysayers. You want to plan for, um, you just want to make plans for that change because you want to plan for the questions. You want to plan for the attitudes. You know, you want to plan for the adjustment that you'll be making. So let's talk about planning. Okay. So, effective strategies to reinforce your desires, justifying why you change your mind. Remember last week I said God had given me to the strength, the ability to start holding my head up instead of walking with my head down. Of course, I didn't realize, I didn't think it was that big of an issue, a big deal. I never paid any attention to it. But I do know that I used to kind of have like a anxiety or nervousness when I was around people, especially a crowd of people. And so God gave me to start holding my head up in great confidence and to look directly into people's eyes. Okay. I didn't know how powerful that was going to be, but I started to practice it, which is why I just talked to you a minute ago about doing the strategies, doing the techniques, because when you do them, you're going to see results. So I started lifting up my head, and I started, that's how when I walked in the doors of the church, my head was lifted high. When I got on my job, my head was lifted high. That's just who I was, and I was changing because instead of being maybe a fearful person or a little shy or a little antisocial or lacking that confidence or whatever, I started to have like great confidence. I started to believe in myself even more. And I started to believe that I had a voice, that I had something to say, that I was an important person just by holding my head up. Okay, and being able to face people directly. So, but I was approached by people who were saying, "Oh, why are you holding your head up? Do you think you're better than the rest of us? You walk in church with your nose in the air. Like people are beneath you or whatever. I don't. And so for a minute, it kind of caught me off track. But then I said, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I said, I'm not trying to be snooty or anything like that. I said, I'm just trying to hold my head up high. I mean, I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. So you need to plan. You need to think about it because the one thing that can easily happen to you when you begin to change is that you become intimidated by people questioning you, by people judging your actions, not really knowing, why it is you do what you do. You can easily get distracted. And then you can easily feel like questioning yourself. Like, why am I changing? Why am I doing these strategies? Your daughter might walk in the room and she might see you in the mirror saying, I am a great mom. Okay? I get up every morning and fix my children breakfast, and I'm going to be an even greater mom. She walking around and say, Mom, why are you talking to yourself? You want to be able to answer her. You want to be able to say, because I'm just practicing some life strategies to empower me, to make me feel good about myself, and to attain a goal of being an even greater mom. And she'll look at you and be like, wow, you're trying to be a greater mom? She might think you already a fantastic mom. But you'll be able to share with her, you'll be able to plan effectively instead of just getting, thinking your daughter thinks you some kind of fruitcake or something. You want to be able to just say, yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm practicing. This is my strategy. I'm going to become a better mom. This is my strategy. I won't be depressed anymore. This is my strategy. I'm going to be a better minister. I'm going to be a better performer. I'm going to be a better, whatever you need to be a better or different. You need to be walk in a sense of pride, not too proud, but a sense of pride. Okay. So, and you want to be able to justify, if you will, the way that you think. So we're going to talk about a couple of things. Hope I don't get you off track here. Kind of following some notes here. So it says, um, back to your past and dealing with your pain, your hurts, your fears, your tears. I know the pain. I know the tears, the injustice. And I'm very familiar with that. I myself was a victim of a lot of horrendous things, molestation, rape, things of that nature, verbal abuse, physical abuse. Yes, very, very, very real. Very, very real. Not so much a touchy subject anymore for me. As you see, I'm here trying to teach you some strategies. Why? Because my life has been empowered by following these strategies. I mean, I was victimized, but I'm not a victim. I think I'm even better than a survivor. Yeah, I think I'm an overcomer. Yeah, I'm a complete overcomer. I didn't put stuff over it and pretend like it didn't happen. I don't just walk on it and ignore it. I overcame it. I'm an overcomer. I'm greater than my past. I'm greater than that person the person that they robbed. Okay, I'm empowered now, so I'm an overcomer. So it says, you will never forget it. So that's one thing you have to realize. You will never forget it. But I'm going to teach you strategies so you can forget it. But at this point, if you don't do something about it, it's like I said before, something haunting you, something tormenting you. If you went through a divorce and your husband had all these nasty things to say about you, sometimes it can make a woman feel like she doesn't have anything to offer. She doesn't have anything to offer the next guy. Um, so, so you have to get over that. It says you're going to forget it, and I want you to think more in terms of forgetting it. Okay. So whenever you think of the term, whenever you say, "I want to forget this," I want to get this out of my head. I want you to think, "I want to forget it." Push it forward. Open up a gate, a way, because things come into our lives through gates. So we want to open that gate, okay, to get those things out of our lives. The same way they came in, not the same way they came in, but in a sense, if you can see what I'm saying, if you have a private driveway, they open the gate to let you in. Somebody buzzes it, they run out and open it, they unhook the latch, I don't know, but when they open the gate, you are able to drive up into that driveway. The same thing, if you open that gate after the person's visit, they're able to drive right back out of the gate that they came in, right? That was talking about a house and you visited it. Okay. This right here, okay, is the temple of God. This right here is the house. It houses what? Your mind, your brain, right? It houses what? Your heart, right? It houses what? Your spirit man, who you are, okay? So things came in, if you will, through the gate to your house to visit. Some of it caused damage. But I want you to know there's no irreparable damage. It can be repaired. But some things came into your life and they caused damage. So now we want to open the gate so they can leave. So it can leave. So it can get out of your life. So you can tell it you no longer belong here. Okay? Give yourself permission to do that. You hear that? Give yourself permission to do that. Part of your control. My computer is kind of doing a little blinky thing here. So yeah. Give yourself permission to do that because you are in control. You are. Whatever you think about, you have absolute control. You have absolute right to kick it out of the gate. You have absolute right, permission is granted to you for you to say to those things, get out of here. Get out of my life. Get out of the way I think. Move it. I want you off and out of my property. Okay? So, qualitative thought. So we want to just say, I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to go into deep definitions about qualitative, quantitative, all that. Qualitative thought. What makes sense in your life right now? It doesn't make sense for you to be concerned about what somebody said to you 10 years ago. It has absolutely no value, and especially if it had no value, had no worth, it wasn't a good thing. Oh my God, please show it the gate. Get it out. Get rid of it. Replace it with something off of that list of 10, 15, 20 things that you can replace it with. Don't let it stay there. I'm not trying to scare you with these big eyes. What qualifies as a now thought? What qualifies as a now thought? You're living right now. You're not living 10 years ago. Mm-mm. Even if it's just you saying, I am powerful, I am strong, I am mighty, I am a great mom, I am a great wife, I am a great asset to my community. What qualifies as a thought right now? Okay, that's qualitative. Quantitative, I want you to think about some information. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 80% of homes are of single parents, which are mothers by a great number is mothers, of course. 1 in 3 women, girls, are molested. 1 in 5 men, boys, are molested. That's real. It's proven. Okay? It's a real fact. The stats say so. It's happening every day, in every place, at the church, in the schools, in colleges, by ministers, by coaches, your mom's friend, your dad's friend, your brother's friend, your uncle, that ex-husband of yours, your brother, everybody and anybody could possibly be a predator. It can happen anywhere. That's real. That's the facts. It's depressing. It's horrible. It's sad. But it's real. It's very real. So what are you going to do? Because everything that happened to you that was negative, whatever unfortunate event, whatever traumatic event that happened in your life, first of all, it shouldn't have happened. I'm going to tell you something, because if people serve the Almighty God, if they read their word, it'll tell them everything they shouldn't do. It'll tell you everything about sexual relationships. It'll tell you everything you need to know about life, everything that pertains to life and godliness. I promise you it's in the book. So what are you going to do now that you know that your case, your situation is not an isolated situation? What are you going to do? Because you're in control. Okay? Or I'm going to get you in control. You are in control. You got that? So what are you going to do? Start surrounding yourself with things that qualify. We already know all that stuff qualifies as bad, no good, sorry, it sucks, it's terrible. Start to surround yourself with things that qualify as good. What has value? Feeling good about oneself. Being in a healthy relationship. Maintaining stability on your job, in your friendships. Okay? And we want to begin to evaluate, take a close look at quantifying. Okay? Quantifying, well, I want you to think in terms of this. Have you ever thought about the pink elephant in the room? The gorilla in the elevator? If you ever had like a team meeting at your job, most of the time they use the gorilla in the crowd in the elevator thingy. Um, so you want to quantify. You want to see it. You wanna know that it's there. Okay. You don't want to ignore it. Okay. What you've been ignoring, what you've been trying to cover up, what you've been trying to hide, you want to see it. Because God's going to give you power. He's going to give you strength. Don't get scared. Don't get frightened. Don't be afraid. The pink elephant is in the room. The gorilla is in the elevator. Okay? The clown is following you down the street. Everybody sees the clown but you. Because you don't want to acknowledge that it's there. You don't want to acknowledge that the pain is there. You don't want to acknowledge that the brokenness is there. But everybody sees the clown, the pink elephant, the gorilla. They see him. It's almost, so to some people, it's almost comical. How can she not see that? We all see it. If you know somebody who's had a baby out of wedlock, well, there's a pink elephant. If you know somebody who is promiscuous, there's a pink elephant. If you know someone who cannot sustain a relationship, there's a gorilla in the room. There's something there. Okay? If you know somebody who treats their spouse poorly, if you know somebody who accepts that maltreatment, there's a clown following you around. Everybody can see it. You can't hide it. What trips me out, and I hate to use that term, that's gonna get under my skin that I said that, is that we all try to live these lives with the pink elephant. We all try to live these lives with the gorillas. We all try to live these lives with the clown. And they're getting the best of us. When you can show them the gate and get the best out of your life. So, qualifying, when you bring this thing to the forefront and you deal with it face to face, you're going to see that it doesn't qualify to be in your life. And that big pink elephant that was in the room, turns into this tiny little mouse. And all you have to do is track it. It's small enough. You're going to see it as small enough, weak enough, and it's fast. But you can set a trap for it. It might come to you in the middle of the night when you're trying to rest. It might come to you at a time when you didn't have a great time on a day at your job. It might come to you at a time when you lost your job. It might come to you at a time when your financial situation has changed. It might come to you at a time that's the worst time in your life to try to beat you down even farther. But if you get that power and you can control it, you're going to turn that big pink elephant into a little small mouse. And you can set a trap for it, and you can capture it, and you can get rid of it. Okay? That big gorilla that's right there in the middle of the crowd, it's like no one can see it. But if you take the time and look back over your life, you can see how that gorilla has been with you the whole time in your unconscious thoughts, directing your decision, making you to choose that wrong person over and over again. Even though you said, you know what, I'll never have another child out of wedlock. I'll never accept that guy in my life again, move him in my house. I'll never treat a woman like that again. I'll never lie to my parents again. That gorilla is right there. So now when you see that gorilla, capture that gorilla, put him in a cage, transport him back to the zoo, open that gate, get him out of here. Okay? You can capture it. Bring it into captivity. Okay? You can capture it. Instead of it torturing you, you can capture it. And you can get rid of it and set yourself free. My time is almost up. I only have 4 minutes. I try to keep these close to 30 minutes, but sometimes they may go a little bit over. This is Sister Kathy, New You, Breaking Those Invisible Chains. This will be part 4, if I'm not mistaken. You can go back and watch these videos anytime on my Ustream channel, New You. Certainly thank and appreciate everyone for joining me tonight. I have recorded this video so you may go back and look at it at your convenience. Tell a friend, please. If you know someone that's struggling, tell them about it. If they've gone through divorce, they need to hear this. If they've had children out of wedlock, they need to hear this. If they are promiscuous, they need to hear this. If it's a young man struggling with a relationship, a young woman struggling with relationships, a minister struggling, whoever, they need this. Okay? Set a trap. Capture it. Get rid of it. Kill it. Because you have the power. It says, behold, I give unto you power over all the enemy. And nothing shall by any means harm you or hurt you. That's his promise to you. If you want that power, I'm giving you the tools to get that power. Don't thank me. Thank God. He says, think on these things, things that are lovely, pure, just, of a good report. If they have any virtue, if they have any praise, think on these things. Part of the strategies I taught you with the listen to 10, 20, 50 things you want to list on that notebook, which was in part 1. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that would exalt itself against the knowledge of God and bringing it to captivity. Why does he talk so much about bringing things into captivity? Because you with all those stats I just read you, 50% of marriages ended in divorces. 1 in 3 women molested. 1 in 5 men. With those types of stats out there, he knew it was going to be some hurting people. And he wanted you to know that you could bring it into captivity. Everything that would exalt itself against the knowledge of God. What do we know about God? He wants us to be happy. He wants us to have good things. He said, I withhold no good thing from you. Captivity, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Read 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Sister Kathy. I love you to pieces. I love a lot of things. I love cheesecake. I love you more than cheesecake. I love Louis Vuitton. I love you more than Louis Vuitton. And I love children. I can't say I love you more than children and hurting people, because I'm one of them. Such are some of us. I want you to share this with a friend. And I want you to join me next week. It will be the last session. Okay? I want you to know that you can be a new person. That's what you're doing right now. It's not about suppressing it. It's not about pretending that it didn't happen. It's about facing it. It's about facing it. We're not pretending it never happened. We're saying, yes, it happened. It's over. Now my life is. Faith is. Faith is not last year. It's not 20 years ago. It's not 50. Now faith is. And I believe in you. I believe you're going to follow through and experience victory in your life like never before. I believe when you begin to see the changes, you're going to gravitate to that power and you're going to want more and more, and you won't quit until you're walking in power. Do you believe that? Can you see yourself free? Receive ye power. This is Sister Kathy. Thank you for joining me. Join me next Sunday at 8 o'clock. I love you forever. See you next week, and we will be talking about visioning. Okay? Because if you really can't vision it, if you really can't vision it, then how can you accomplish it? So we're going to talk about visioning. It's going to be very, 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 very powerful. Seeing yourself free. Okay? Have a good night.